Hello there YouTube, this is the Rogue Gem Player here, and I'm coming at you with a new Volcanic deck profile for the February format. So, let's get right into it. This is going to be just standard Volcanics, really, to be perfectly honest, with really nothing much, mainly because the deck doesn't really change all that much. Unless you have Pot of Extravagance, then you can really mess with this deck, but I don't have them currently, so this build we'll have to work with. 3 copies of Rocket. Use it, get your reloads. You kind of need this card at a 3. We're then playing 3 Barrier Statue Infernos. We do play Ties of the Brethren in this deck, and you basically need this card to do everything. It locks your opponent out of their extra deck, basically. There's not a whole lot of good fire links that are generic. I don't think there is any off the top of my head. So locks them out of the extra deck, basically. 3 copies of Royal Firestorm Guards. You need this card to basically do everything in terms of recycling your advantage and the like. So this is also necessary. Then play 3 Scattershot. This says, I'm going to Raigeki my opponent's field once a turn, so long as I keep recycling, and they take 1500 burn. Yeah, this card is very devastating, especially when you can pile on the damage as the game goes on. And then the last Volcanic monster, or Pyro monster, is 3 Shell, because paying 500 to draw a card is pretty good. Hence why Upstart Goblin was pretty good. We are playing a small Shaddoll component. I've been splashing this in a lot, mainly because of the active amount of high amounts of extra deck summoning. This basically allows me to go second and still have some sort of play. Also, with Shaddoll Fusion, you can get all kinds of setup with it. So that's all the monsters. It's 18 monsters. For spells, we're going to start with the 3 Shaddoll Fusion. Going first, this is, obviously a bad thing, but going second, if you lose the die roll, this basically allows you to somehow play to a point. And also allows you to dump Shell in the grave, so you can fetch it later. So then we're playing 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren. You need to get to Rocket, more specifically your reload, and this allows you to, so long as you draw any of your 9 level 4s, you could immediately access it with this card. So double dualities. If you have Pot of Extravagance, you can add those in as well. But the ridiculous price tag on the card, I'm not willing to commit that kind of money to it, so this will have to do. You can make the deck like 45 or something and play Desires, and that would also work. You just have to play the deck a little bit more carefully. And then 1 Dark Hole and 1 Reborn. This should be a Raigeki, but... And then for traps, it's pretty simple. So we're going to play 3 Blaze Accelerator Reload. You discard a card. You discard a Volcanic, draw a card. If it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to send a Volcanic from deck to grave, triggering Scattershot, which allows you to send 2 more of it to do 1500 burn and blow up your opponent's field. This allows you to get through your deck as quickly as possible. To help with this is 3 copies of Reckless Greed. You draw through so much of your deck, and the deck thins so quickly that you can see usually you'll see 1, 2, maybe 3 of it with absolutely no issues. And this just gets through the deck quickly. Then the last 3 of spell is 3 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance. So the whole point is to open up with Reload in some way, shape, or form with something to discard, and then Ties of the Brethren with Rocket or something like that. You ties, and then you set up on your first turn, and then you set Anti-Spell Fragrance. This basically says your opponent can't play certain things, and it turns off Sky Striker, basically. It's an auto-win button for Sky Striker. Double Jar. You need this because you need to be able to recycle your resources. This allows you to spin spells and traps back in the deck. So, and then the 1 Torrential, because people don't actually see it coming. So you just nuke their whole board and it ruins their day. For links, basically the entire extra deck is, for the most part, is it's up to your interpretation, or what you have access to. I'm more on the budget end of things, so I am missing a lot of the good links and the good extra deck cards, but I make do with what I have. You might actually see some good substitutes if you do. 2 Doolittle Chimera. This is the generic link for fire. You can use your rockets, your Royal Firestorm Guards, even your barrier statue if necessary to make these. And it gives them a 500 point boost, so it does make the barrier statue 1500, which allows you to keep it alive a little bit easier. And it also makes a scatter shot. Oh, sorry, rocket 2400, which is pretty cool. 1 Akashic, 1 Underclock Taker, a Gaia Saber, Decode, and Agave. This is from Soul Fusion, by the way. It's a common, but it's a 3K generic link 4 with at least 2. So, and then for the shit-alls, we're playing the 1 Winda because we're playing enough targets for it, and then the 1 Grista because you can send Shell off of Shit-all Fusion to summon this, and then you send a Squamata or a Hedgehog. Either way, you get a beast in hand, and you can discard that to negate inherent summons. So that's cool. Only 1 of each. The games don't last long enough for you to summon them all. So 1 Infernal Flame Vixen because it's a pyro monster that's also fire. 1 Crooked Cook. This is cool if you want to turn off your anti-spell or put the reload in the grave. 1 Karen Gorgon, the Anti-Luminescent Knight, to redirect stuff. Maestro Cowboy for game. And 1 Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. So that's the deck for the most part. Like I said, it's not, super competitive, but it is something that you can throw out there. It's kind of fun for a local, and I rebuild it every once in a while, so why not? So let me know what you guys think of the deck in the comments below. Send some recommendations, even other budget-ish options for others who are wanting to build this deck, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.